Miss Mobley, you are suing your former landlord, Miss Curry, for $4,000 for property of yours that was taken from your apartment before your move-out date. Now, Miss Mobley, you were evicted from this apartment for failure to pay rent. You arranged with Miss Curry, according to your statement, for a date that you would come and pick up your property. When you came to pick up your property on that date, you found a lot of it was missing. That's why you're suing her. Now, Miss Curry, you say that the law gives her 30 days to come and pick up her property following the eviction. She chose to wait almost 2 months, so you're not responsible for anything that may or may not have been missing from her apartment. In fact, you're actually countersuing her for $1,500 for a door that you say she broke during her move-out. Now, Miss Mobley, how long had you been living in this apartment of Miss Curry's?
I've been living in the house for a year and 3 months, paying the rent every month.
You say paying the rent every month. You were eventually evicted for failing to pay rent.
I paid the rent, but I had a problem paying the rent because I was unable to work at the time because I got sick. I had an agency to pay the rent, but they ran out of funding.
So, Ms. Curry, I know this case has been litigated already in landlord-tenant court, but
Yes.
How long was she not paying rent?
This is the second time she's been evicted. The first time was up till August of 2024, and this is the second time up to January of 2025. So up to January of 2025, which is about 6 months, she paid rent twice.
So in January 2025, Ms. Mobley, you were in court and you got a notice telling you had to leave, right?
Yes, but some of the things that she's saying is not true about me paying rent. I paid the rent of last year from January 2024 to August 2024. I paid $7,135 through 2 agencies that paid for me, and she put me out in the street through the court system. I was outside for 2 weeks, nowhere to go.
And I feel for you, but we need to get to the issues in this case, which are you were evicted pursuant to a court order on February 13th, because you're saying pursuant to the law, she's got until March 13th to leave.
Exactly,
right?
exactly. The last thing that I submitted was the text messages.
Mm-hmm.
If you would look at that, that tells you everything.
Well, yes, again, you submitted some text messages, and just taking a brief look at them, you do mention the date of March 13th is the date that you believe she has to move out.
Yes.
What is your feeling about that, Ms. Mobley?
Your Honor, I moved out March the 10th of that month. Well, everything I could take with me.
Well, your court papers say that it was April 4th that you came to the agreement with Ms. Curry to move out.
Yeah, I had to go to the courts to get an agreement with her to get my things out. She would not let me get my things out because I didn't have a truck. I asked her, could I get my things on March the 14th? And she said, no, I'm not going to be in town. I cannot come. So I waited till Monday, the next Monday.
Let me stop you there for a second, Ms. Mobley. You do say in these texts, you do acknowledge that that March 13th date is a key date to get your things out, right?
Yes, because I couldn't get a truck to the 14th, which is the next day.
But the March 13th date is the date that she was telling you is a date by law, the maximum date that you can get your things out, because that's 30 days after the eviction.
Yes, sir. But the court said I can get my things out after that date.
Do you have any court papers to suggest that or to verify?
No, it was all done by phone to the landlord and the lawyers. Her lawyer.
I could straighten that out, Your Honor. She was evicted on the 13th of February. By New Jersey law, she had 30 days to get her things out, which would have been the 13th of March. She abandoned her property on the 13th of February. But what she did was she went back to court and she asked.
You say she abandoned the property.
Yes,
That's
they
your
considered,
definition of what
they
she did
considered
by
it
not
abandoned.
coming on the 13th.
Exactly. They considered it abandoned after that time. She went back to the court and told them that she wanted to institute a small claims action against me. So the court staff called me and said, is there any way, that she can just get her property? So I agreed for her to come back 3 weeks later, past the time that she was supposed to get it, and get her belongings.
Oh, so you did agree to this extension to April 4th, as she alleged in her complaint.
I allowed her.
Judge Sweldy?
Yes.
Okay, so what happened on April 4th, Ms. Mobley?
On April 4th, I was able to get a U-Haul truck with my family to meet her at the house at 11 a.m. to get my things out of the house. And moving the things out, I noticed all 10 or 11 items that was not there.